Aloha. This is Emily Thoreau Threat, host of the Grief and Happiness podcast. Every Friday, I share with you my love notes, giving you a little something to think about as you navigate through your grief journey, finding happiness expanding along your way. And every Tuesday, I post my regular podcast sharing wonderful conversations with people you can relate to and who offer you encouraging ideas and helpful inspiration. I'm so grateful you're joining me and look forward to hearing from you, your thoughts. Aloha. My podcast for you today is Serendipity. Have you had the experience of creating a vision in your mind of something you would love to do, and then things started happening around you showing you that you could do it? This is serendipity, or it's part of the process of creation. I've had this happen so often that I've learned to pay attention when it happens. When I recognized the power of paying attention, I reflected on my life and saw lots of examples. Here are a few. When my son Jason was born, I had complications and the nursing staff was unhelpful, to say the least. I couldn't understand how a nurse could treat a patient without care or compassion. I said to myself, if I were a nurse, I would never do that to my patients. Before that time, I hadn't considered being a nurse, yet I became one, a caring and compassionate nurse. Later, when I was in the process of getting my master's degree in English, I had no idea what I was going to do with the degree when I got it. My husband, Jacques, suggested that I observe a writing class, and two of his colleagues gave me the opportunity to do so, as well as grading his essays that they assigned. Their techniques were different, and I could see how I, as a student, would like to be taught, as well as seeing things that they did that worked and things that they did that didn't. This inspired me to start my career as a writing teacher. I love being innovative and encouraging my students to live their very best lives in the process, and I did that for many years. Later still, I had a dream of opening a live theater and school of arts. I was unsure how I could do this. Then I watched the movie Music of the Heart, which portrayed the true story of Roberta Gaspari, who founded the Opus 118 Harlem School of Music as she fought for music education funding in New York City public schools. I'd been fighting to find ways to support arts education in the city where I lived, and when I watched the movie, I knew if she could accomplish what she did, I could. And I accomplished what I wanted to commute for my community. That I heard the song that went with the movie, and that was my confirmation that I was doing what I was meant to do. Here are some of the words to the song, Music of My Heart. You opened my eyes, you opened the door to something I'd never known before, and your love is the music of my heart. You can watch that movie online if you'd like to see it too. Then when my husband Ron died, I spent lots of time writing to help me deal with my grief. A few months after my Ron's death, his good friend Chappie died, and I used what I learned by my writing to write a series of 52 cards to send to his wife Lori once a week for the first year. I realized what I said in the cards made an outline for a book that could help many people deal with grief and loss. So I wrote that book, actually two, Loving and Living Your Way Through Grief and the Grief and Happiness Handbook. And now I've even published those cards in a box set so that you can look at them and help them inspire you or give them as a bereavement gift to people who could use some comfort and support during their dealing with loss. Whatever you've experienced has come from serendipity or inspiration, and I'm grateful for it all. And all these occurrences have brought me much happiness to my life. My hope is that you pay attention to the serendipity and inspiration you receive. How can you find more happiness in your life? By following your heart. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next week. Do you want more comfort, support, and happiness? Join the Grief and Happiness Alliance. Visit my website at lovingandlivingyourwaythroughgrief.com and read my book, Loving and Living Your Way Through Grief. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast, rate it, review it, and binge on all our episodes on grief and happiness. I can't wait to welcome you back to another episode